Good afternoon, YouTube. Today I want to make this video to help to summarize a few of my thoughts regarding the election and what will be the future now. Donald Trump seems to have yielded position of leadership, and the reason that I use this image, even though it's been crafted onto one of Napoleon Bonaparte, and all credit to whomever designed this image, Trump still has leadership. Whether or not it's disappearing from him, that's his choice. And I truly believe that he should do something to retain the presidency, because the more that I'm reading, the more censorship I'm seeing. Let's just turn the camera a bit here. Twitter and Facebook have been, on the pretense of the Capitol, I guess, invasion or something like that, have been suspending his accounts and cutting him off from the world. But if you were there, you'd know that the real Trump supporters were not responsible for the invasion of the Capitol. They were actually trying to stop the people responsible, which we now know is Antifa. And the reason we know that is because there were Trump supporters that were there that recorded it and shut them down. Please observe.
Trump supporters have largely been blamed for the violence against police officers and property, but video footage appears to show a different story. This video, taken by NTD's on-the-ground reporters, shows Trump supporters trying to stop the people smashing windows of the Capitol building and calling them Antifa. You can hear them saying, "Anyone who does this is not with us." It appears other protesters grab his leg and pull him down to stop him from breaking the window. Other videos show pro-Trump protesters booing those breaking in and calling them Antifa. This video appears to show them trying to stop the people smashing windows and shoving them towards the police. We do know that many genuine Trump supporters did make it inside the barricades of the Capitol.
Let me just rewind that because it appears to have frozen at just a key moment.
We do know that many show them trying to stop the people smashing windows and shoving them towards the police.
Let's watch that again.
To show them trying to stop the people smashing windows and shoving them towards the police.
There's the police there.
We do know that many genuine Trump supporters did make it inside the barricades of the Capitol building. A number of them say they didn't use violence to get in, but were let in. In this video, police appear to open the barricades.
It's a peaceful protest.
Zach Voorhees, a former Google employee turned whistleblower, recorded a video of a Trump supporter who left the rally after things turned violent. He claims he overheard a plot to make Trump supporters look bad.
They were dressed as Trump supporters, but I could tell by their conversation that they were looking to do, and I heard them say, "We got to shake this up so that these people look bad." And I saw them break a window on the Capitol.
Wednesday night, Congressman Mo Brooks urged people to not rush judgment on who assaulted the Capitol building. Brooks said on Twitter that another congressman told him that intelligence suggested Antifa was going to try to infiltrate the rally by dressing like Trump supporters. One protester who was at the forefront inside the Capitol and witnessed a woman getting shot has been identified as John Sullivan. He told 2KUTV News that he didn't support President Trump, but attended the protest to document it. Sullivan is a Black Lives Matter activist and the founder of Insurgents USA. On January 1st, he urged comrades to show up to the January 6th march. He wrote on Twitter, "We need numbers to show up. No fascist in DC. March against fascism. Spread the word, comrades. #FTrump, #Antifa." He was also arrested in July for allegedly rioting and making threats of violence. In video captured by BG on the scene, he can be heard saying to other BLM activists that they need to rip Trump out of office and start a revolution.
We got rip Trump out of that office right over there. I want y'all to repeat after me. It's time for a revolution.
Much is still unknown about who exactly smashed the windows of the Capitol and what their intentions were. An investigation is underway.
Yeah, so that's just one small part. But getting back to the fact that here's the issue. The United States needs Trump right now. We're not going to see another leader like this in a long time. And the reason is because people that are smart enough to know history will remember this moment. And they will remember, if they're running for politics, what a deep sacrifice and a thankless sacrifice that was made by Trump every day while he was president. And before that, they will say the job isn't worth all the hatred, the scrutiny, the threatening, and the highest levels of stress probably associated with all those things. I always judge a man by the strength of his enemies. And I'm telling you, to be in that position like Trump is require extraordinary strength of an individual to be able to withstand all that bombardment every day. And Trump was so close to getting victory. And I would say that Trump did achieve victory because Trump did get the popular vote that was legitimate. And Biden cheated so that they could get more of the vote than Obama did in fewer than 400 districts, I believe. So I believe that Trump's sacred responsibility as president should force him to keep up the fight and to never concede that election, because if he does, well, we all know what will happen. Essentially, America will have disappeared as we know it. But Trump is still in the unique position that he can still fight them off if he so desires. And I believe he should do that. I believe that what the power of Antifa keeps growing and growing. And I mean, communists will retake the United States like they did under Obama's days. And I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's just, for me, it's horrifying to think that Biden and Harris could be the heads of this administration. We had Obama. We barely survived. I just don't understand why Trump will not do what is necessary to stay in power. Even the accounts of Sidney Powell and where are we now? Let's see. Twitter labels. Response to the accounts of Sidney Powell and Michael Flynn were restricted and disabled as well. So those who are loyal to Trump will be severely punished. Look at this one. Cruz, Hawley responds. Biden compares them to Nazi propagandists. It's incredible. And I mean, anybody who is affiliated with Trump will be severely punished. But if you study what the will of the people is, you'll know that they're so tired of Democrats and Democrat corruption. This asshole, Governor Gavin Newsom, exceeds 1 million signatures to recall. Like, I mean, this is Cali. This has been Democrat territory forever, and they want to get this corrupt bastard out. And what I hate the most is that it is obvious to me that Trump did win the election. And it's also obvious to me that the will of the people is overwhelmingly for Trump. All you have to do is look at the facts. But why don't the people in power acknowledge those facts and rather would investigate nonsense like this? Senate announces bipartisan probe into security. This is just smoke and mirrors. We know that Antifa is the one that really was behind that attacking of the Capitol building. And it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But really, it's just a distraction from the election that just gives them different news to report. And a new thing for the media, the fake media, to scrutinize and take away the attention from the election. And that's how things work nowadays. It's just, for me, and I encourage everybody to perform the same habit, I don't trust anything that comes out of the American media. Nothing mainstream. Nothing that comes out of the Canadian media. Nothing. Because as far as I'm concerned, everything that they're doing is like, they accuse Trump of what they themselves are doing in a nutshell. And I see this as a coup d'etat by the left, by Mark Zuckerberg, by the CCP agents and CCP money in America working hard to dethrone Trump. And as far as I can tell, they succeeded. But why the hell should Trump, if Trump knows that, and I think Trump does know that, why the hell would he concede to the will of China? Why would he concede to the will of Mark Zuckerberg or Pelosi or corrupt Democrats of any kind? It's plain for me to see that without Trump, the world has already lost its mind. But with Trump, there was like a pushback back to sanity, so to speak. And that was one of the main reasons why I liked Trump, because the media would always behave against him because they like where we are and they like us to become even more radicalized and divided and insane. And so Trump was like the antidote to that. And I don't care what anybody says, that's what he was. Trump was like somebody that could bring sanity back to people. And he did. So why on earth would he concede to the left? That's my question. Why would he get off his horse instead of going into battle again? The man has always struck me as a person that desire and craves success. And he's never given up in any of his battles. He's usually won every time. So I don't understand how the man could walk away from the fight right now. And you might say, well, the fight is over. And I would say, well, the fight is over only if there are no soldiers willing to fight anymore. If you surrender willingly, then there's no fight. But I don't know. I thought that his character is incommensurate with that kind of surrendering attitude. There's a lot to be discussed. There's philosophically, you could discuss a lot. But really, it just comes down to Trump abandoning the people whom were loyal to him and whom had hope in him. And that to me is unacceptable from a leader, because who are you surrendering to? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Obama, essentially, Hillary Clinton, so many corrupt losers that should get what what's coming to them, and now they'll never get it. And it proves to me that this world, the immoral might be able to get away with a lot of stuff. And I always thought that there'd be a reckoning for people at some point who behaved in such a monstrous manner, morally absent. And I really, that's what hurts me the most, is that it's so obvious that Joe Biden is behaving morally corrupt. The Democrats were behaving morally corrupt, and the people who are supposed to be responsible as the guardians of justice ultimately turned a blind eye and didn't do anything. And then when that happened, people within Trump's inner circle began to desert him. Republicans who should have been strong to defend Trump, and not to defend Trump, but to defend the Constitution in that moment, basically looked the other way and voted with the Democrats. As far as I'm concerned, they're the real traitors of America. Because you could say it's not partisan, but none of the Democrats that I could see really wanted to vote with Trump in the first place. I mean, if there are a few of them, but they're dominant by the rising of the new tide, you could say. So they'll vote with whomever Pelosi desires, or the people that went with Adam Schiff during the impeachment, those people. Ultimately, the willingness to accept a lie, that's why Trump is in the position that he's in. Because I think Trump, the way that he's behaved anyhow, is he was hoping for others to stand up and to fight the battle with him, and they wouldn't. There were a few that stood strong with him. Ted Cruz, those kind of people, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, Michael Flynn, maybe Lynn Wood. But now their accounts, at least Sidney Powell and Flynn, have been disabled. Lynn Wood is quiet. People are essentially accepting the reality of the lie. And to me, that's commensurate with what Jordan Peterson said about communist Russia. People usually blame only the government for the corruption that happened there, the communists. But Jordan Peterson blamed every individual in Russia, because he said that there was lying, deliberate lying, and acceptance of lying at every level of infrastructure, and that even in your own household, your family members, 2 out of 5 people would be government informants. So you can see we're not there yet, but we are culminating to that point. So, and government informants can inform on you as easy as ever, because everything is highly publicized. You can easily put information out there. So it's that's even easier than ever. I see dark times ahead, and I'll be frank with you. The acceptance of this lie, I believe that a lot of people prayed for Trump to remain leader, but perhaps we are not worthy. And I say that with a heavy heart, because it's like, I know in my heart that people voted for him, and they were the majority, and now they're being ignored by the people who should have upheld their vote. And I will never forget the committee hearings that Giuliani brought forth with the witnesses testifying. I mean, if you say what they say is fake or a lie, you yourself are a liar, or obtuse, or ignorant. So I think Trump is abandoning his horse now. He will step down quietly. He may retire. But to me, I think, Mr. Trump, if you are listening to this, or if something should happen, you can hear this video, don't concede. Don't give up. A lot of people, a lot of good people were counting on you to stand up against the left, the evil of the left. And now that you're leaving, the position that you're leaving vacant will be filled by people who will work hard to undo everything that you've done, and people who will work hard to make America weak again, like they were under Obama. So I hope, Mr. Trump, if you can find a way to stay in power, a lot of people are hoping that you'll exercise that right, because you don't have to concede to a dimwit and his allies unless you wanted to. So, anyways, there's much more to be said, but really, I'm taken aback by the way that this thing played out, because the investigations into fraud, for one, was really it's pathetic in my estimation, how the judges behaved, how the Supreme Court, how the committees with all the leftist losers on the committee board that didn't have anything really to refute the testimony of witnesses, but used the moment to become hysterical and weird. I couldn't even believe that those officials were elected to office, to be honest with you. The lack of professionalism, the hysterical attitude, it was just unbelievable to me. It is so clear to me that a lot of infrastructure has been bought by the Chinese, by the Mark Zuckerbergs, that are so far against America that there's really no restitution except put them in prison. And that's what I was hoping Trump would do. That's what it would require. If Trump exercised emergency powers right now, declare martial law, I believe that many citizens would still be for him. The media wouldn't, but the media has never been for him, so it's like, who cares? But I do believe that Trump has a moral responsibility to safeguard against the coup d'etat that the left is